Okay, there we go. Welcome, everybody, to the first Tuesday business group coaching call. And I'm Sharon Burch, and I'm happy to see you here. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. I don't know whose AI note taker this is. I'm going to take that one out. Okay. So, our purpose tonight is to answer your questions about building your business and also hear your celebrations if you have some. We like to do that too. That's equally as important as our challenges. And you can, it's very informal. You can eat and drink. You can be on camera or off. You can just listen or you can talk. So it's all up to you. I'm here to support you. And that's all I have to say now. I'll hold space until one of you wants to share something.
I'll share if no one else wants to start.
Great, Laura.
I I've been meaning to come to one of these for a while, but finally made it. Thank you for hosting. I want to celebrate my first paid client yesterday. Payment. For-
Wonderful. How did that
So
happen? You want to share anything about it?
I Sure. Yeah, it actually happened. So it's a family member who reached out to me actually in November and, you know, kind of out of the blue. I mean, pleasantly surprised, obviously, but also like, oh, great, what do I do? 'Cause, like, I graduated from my coaching program in August and I had been studying for boards and taking a functional medicine for nurses course and was planning for the beginning of this year to start, creating clients and everything. So I just, a brief moment of panic of, how do I do this? Because I had, worked with my pro bonos, but it's different when you're setting up a payment plan and all that and choosing like a platform or how you want your process to look and the organization of all of that. So that's kind of how it happened. I basically told her because I just felt like if I had started with her, it would have been like kind of the beginning of the holidays and just the timing wouldn't have been ideal. So I said, how about let's start at the beginning of the year? And she was like, she didn't really want a discovery call. She was just like, I'm ready, like let's get dates on the calendar kind of thing. So I set up the dates with her and everything, and then over the course of, the next few weeks, month, I, figured out the agreement and the payment like platform and all of that. And so yeah, so now we're all set up and ready to go. So
That's
it's pretty
wonderful.
exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank
And it
you.
it takes it to a whole nother level of reality, doesn't it?
Yes. Trying to focus on, more of the excitement than the fear.
Yeah,
So
good.
it's yeah, definitely exciting. I guess I don't know, since this is my first one, how it kind of works just with questions about, in terms of coaching or sorry,
Yeah,
go, are you gonna say
you can ask anything. I tend to answer marketing questions more in our marketing lab, which is a paid
okay.
subscription type of group coaching program.
Okay.
So I won't go into a lot of detail with marketing questions, but I can answer a few, small ones.
Yeah, I
Mostly
guess it
this is
was
focused on business development.
yeah, and I guess my question was kind of more business development. I guess I feel like there's just so many resources out there as far as business development and choosing, which one to use. Like I know that you can do a lot with Google. Like I just signed up for I the package where I can do the e-signatures. So things like that. I guess I just had questions kind of surrounding that aspect of the business development
Okay, go
right
for
now.
it. You've got the floor for first. You jumped in first, so go ahead and ask me something. And we can
Oh, I mean,
crowdsource a little bit too, because sometimes, I'm not the only expert here. Everyone has experience of some type, and there's so much out there right now to know. So I welcome others to chime in too if they have ways to support you. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it was just pretty general as far as, I mean, what Google has. I feel like I don't know what else I can utilize Google for in terms of the business development. Like I've been kind of playing around with the forms and Google Docs and like spreadsheet and
Yeah. Well, I use Google Drive for almost everything in my business. And they're always coming out with more things. So there's things I don't know about yet also. But I use the spreadsheets a lot. I use the calendar. I do use Acuity scheduling that is the client facing part of my scheduling, but it sends my client appointments to my Google Calendar where I have everything else scheduled in my life so that I have it all in one place. Now, don't want to, and I'm sure nobody wants to double book like a doctor's appointment and a client at the same time without knowing it. It could be very
right.
awkward. So, uh, Google Calendar is really easy to use. I find the whole suite of Google being, it's very user friendly. I love it that it's free and I love it that it's collaborative. So I store all my documents there. I would do a lot of collaborative work in documents and spreadsheets, and it works well for that. You can also make them private. And I store my PDFs there. I have a lot of handouts for my clients, and those are in Google Drive, and I can share those easily with just a link, to those with my clients. Um, what else? Forms, I use those uh, before at the beginning of working with a client and at the end. And if it's a long program or a long contract, I'll also have an evaluation in the middle. So there's a pre and a post and sometimes interim evaluation of progress. And are they reaching their goals? Are they moving toward their goals? That kind of thing.
Okay,
And
thank
and I
you.
use I used to use Gmail exclusively for my email, but now I have a business domain email instead. So
Okay, just curious, the pre-post forms that you send are the like pre-post questionnaires, or is one a pre-coaching questionnaire and then like the testimonial is the post or separate?
I have a separate Google form for testimonials.
Okay.
Hmm. But my situation is a little different because I don't just have only a coaching practice. I also have courses that people take.
Okay.
And for those, they give CE credit. And so I need to have a post, an evaluation at the end to to assess their learning on the
Right. Okay.
content. So, those forms are super flexible. You can use them for all those things that we talked about.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's also one more thing that Google puts out that I found recently, which is called Trends, TRENDS .google.com. And you can put in your keywords that you think people might be using to search for your service or others like yours. And you can
Okay.
see how those keywords are ranking. And you can look at any type of geography from worldwide right down to your own city or local area and everything in between. And you can look at different time periods like the last year, the last 5 years, lots of varieties of that. And then you can compare up to 5 different sets of keywords and see how they rank in terms of being searched. And that can really be beneficial when you start working on your marketing. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else here have ways they use Google in their business? Barbara.
Sharon, do you use Appointlet or how do you do appointments using Google? Or do you have like Practice Better or
Yeah.
is it just all on Google?
I don't use Practice Better. I think there is a way to use it straight on Google, but I don't. I use something called Acuity scheduling software, and then it sends the appointment to the Google Calendar.
Okay. Because
And I
I
have it set
tried
up
to,
so that it won't
okay.
double book.
Okay, because I tried a pointlet, and I have someone I'm working with that I gave a like a group, like a 4 session thing for a fundraiser. And so I don't have a paying client like Laura, which but it's like someone did pay somebody for my services. So I'm trying to use some scheduling tool. And I found that I used a Pointlet because it's free. And it seems like it kind of goes into the Google Calendar, but I don't know if anyone else has used a Pointlet and has, found that it works well, or I'm just wondering. Yeah.
I haven't used it. Has anyone else here used this app?
Oh,
Okay. Well, thanks for letting us know
Or
about that.
which app was it?
a pointlet?
Oh, okay. No.
No.
I forgot to say also use Google Slides for presentations. Mhm. But I'm thinking about changing over to Canva because I've been hearing good things about I use Canva a lot for my graphics and images, but I haven't used it yet for presentations, and I hear it's easy and good.
Hmm. Thanks.
Mhm. Almost the last time I talked with you, you were looking at doing a pilot test of your business idea.
Yeah, that's right. So, for those of you I haven't met, I am designing a 7-day meditation course. Um, and it is meant to give any participant lifelong and solid grounding with stillness meditation. Um, and uh, and it's meant to kind of be the cornerstone of a larger sort of wellness program or sort of wellness retreat um, type of thing. Yeah, I am um, um, I am slowly pulling myself out of a terrible financial and uh, spiritual rut dealing with burnout, and that's uh, finally coming to an end. It's been just a terrible sort of uh, demoralizing and slow year, and it's fine with a lot of setbacks, and it's finally coming to an end. So um, I'll be able to sort of redirect my energies, um, especially now that my sort of emotional and mental health is coming sort of back online. So um, that's kind of the gist of it. So I don't really have any exciting business updates. Just so I so just to let folks know, I did do the mini course, and that's helped me create a good sort of basis of understanding for kind of what comes next. And so yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Thomas. Glad you're here. And your sharing was a gentle reminder to me that I haven't invited people to introduce themselves or any of those social things that would be a good idea for me to do. I tend to geek out on all this business stuff and forget those things. So um, may I just invite you, maybe let's go around, let's consider that Thomas just started a nice introduction of himself. And um, we'll ask him if he wants to add anything more, and then let's go around and hear each person of at least where you live and what your business idea is or what you're working with. Okay. Do you want to share anything
Yeah,
else?
well, yeah, I'll just say that I got my National Health Wellness Board certification over the summer, and I am transitioning out of nursing and into the next thing. So I've been travel nursing. I'm in New Jersey working right now, um, and um, sold my home recently, and so the possibilities are wide open right now as far as entrepreneurship. So
Great. Thank
thank
you,
you.
Thomas. Who'd like to go next? Sue.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to hop off at 7:30, so I don't want to be rude to anybody, but so I just I'll go now. So my name's Sue. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and background obviously a nurse practitioner, and I have a doctor of naturopathy and started going down the holistic road a couple years ago and kind of feel like I'm doing things backwards because I started a business. I rent a space in something called the Wellness Lounge, which is basically a health food store. And there's 6 other practitioners, as well as myself. And I started with a salt booth and I do biofeedback and wellness consults. So when I started, we all know how to be nurses. And then you have this idea that, like you said, Thomas, burnout hugely. And you jump into doing what is your passion and found out I don't know anything about how to do a business. So I'm super grateful that I've found out about Sharon and I started the starter kit and the protecting your license. And oh my gosh, what a tremendous help. I wish I would have known about it a lot more. And but just the knowledge and just to be able to um, like have a starting point, like why am I doing my business? And just kind of taking it step by step has been just amazing. And getting on these calls has, also been a tremendous help to hear that the feelings I have are felt by others. Like, what am I doing? How do I do this? Just simple things like what apps do you use? How do you do forms? It's really nice to have a community to like just hear where people are at, and we're all at a different point, and that just helps us all. So I appreciate sharing everything you've put together. I think it's tremendous. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Sue.
Mhm.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
I can go. I can go. Well, my name's Barb. I'm in New York, and I did a nurse coaching certification through INCA, finished in August, and trying to move forward with a nurse coaching business and working in more of the preventative, functional, integrative healthcare field. Just looking, I don't know. I'm just looking to get started. And in the meantime, I'm looking for work because I'm not working. So I'm trying to find something within the health and wellness field. And it's not easy to do, especially here in New York. It seems like they're very allopathically, focused. And so I'm kind of like what Thomas said. It's like I'm going back to it. My first degree was in physical education. So I'm trying to put the nursing together with the physical education and wellness and, even just applying for any jobs that are more preventative, more holistic healthcare, health and wellness kind of stuff, because most of the other jobs are in hospitals and stuff like that. And I come to here and bug Sharon like monthly, I think, and try to get ideas from other people on where to go. So whatever you got today, thanks.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Barb. Would you remind me what part of New York you live in?
I'm around the Albany area.
Okay.
So middle of the state, out in west of that in the country. So there's not a whole lot of, there's some, but where I live is like an hour from a lot of the functional medicine places. And I'm taking the nutrition for nurses through INCA too. And I would like to do more functional medicine classes. But that's where my heart is. And it doesn't seem like there's a ton of it now, but I need a kick in the pants, and I would come to your class, but I don't have a job and money right now is tight. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a balance, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. First of all, did you know, I'm sure you didn't know, but I'd like to share. I spent 1 year, my first year of college was on the Finger Lakes at Keuka College.
Oh,
That's
okay.
in New York. So that's
Yeah.
not too far from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
And
I went to Cortland. That was out for my PE degree, so it's kind of in the same area.
kind of in a similar area. It's
Yeah,
beautiful out there. And
yeah.
um, so you have a good idea to look for a job in the niche that you want to build your business in. And I'd like to just spend a little minute talking about that before we keep going around. The First of all, it's really important to keep supporting yourself while you're building your business idea and getting off the ground, because it's difficult to predict exactly how long it will take to get your business from zero to when it's supporting you. It could be a year, or two, and it comes on kind of gradually, usually, and a little bit up and down on a bumpy road at the beginning. So really important to have another job. And yet the wrong job can just sap us physically, emotionally, spiritually. Yes. So I bet a lot of us have been there. And then there's nothing left of us to create something new. And so if we can find, even if it pays us less than what we're used to, if we can find something in our niche that gets us where we have direct contact with the people that we want to eventually serve through our business,
Mm.
it'll automatically build in an opportunity to be listening to them and asking them what's keeping them up at night, and listening to the nuances of that, and asking ourselves, okay, what do I have to offer them for these different problems? And we can mentally try on different little micro niches within the big niche of wellness. In your case, it's wellness and prevention of problems. And really, that is part of building a business is not income producing. So if we can do that part inside, nested in a job where somebody else is paying us for our time, and I'm not suggesting siphoning off time, taking it, for your purpose and not meeting the needs of the employer, but they can overlap, and you can serve both without taking away, serve yourself without, and the audience, the people, without taking away from your employer. Let me see what Barb's comment was.
Oh, sorry,
Laura commented. Go ahead and say that, Laura.
Oh, I didn't know I didn't know if I should put it in the chat to everyone, or I couldn't for some reason send it just to Barbara, but I just wanted to share that because I know she mentioned the functional nursing and also the nutrition for nurses. I'm really interested in that program that you said you're in right now. I did take the functional nursing, and it's both with Bridget Sager. So I didn't know if you saw that she's been doing a lot in terms of, they just created the Institute for Functional Nursing that
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
part of Institute for Functional Medicine. So I just thought I would share that might be an idea to find, because it's a way for other nurses to connect who are interested in doing functional nursing. Because I can relate. Sorry, I don't want to keep going, but
it's okay. You're sharing something that everybody
well,
needs to hear.
I mean, I can relate to the isolation feeling. I actually live in Puerto Rico, and it's as much as there are some functional medicine providers and people interested in that space, it is very small. Compared to, I moved from San Diego where I had my own functional medicine provider with my own health journey. But yeah, I just thought I would share that with you if you hadn't already heard about the functional nursing.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I listened to her podcast too, and so and the nutrition class is really good too. And did you do a business? You did a business of functional nursing in San Diego? Or is that what you're
Oh
doing
no,
now? Functional?
sorry. I was just saying that I moved from San Diego. I'm originally from San Diego, but I had my own health journey with Hashimoto's
Oh,
and I
okay.
saw my own functional medicine provider in San Diego.
Okay.
So now that I'm here in Puerto Rico, I feel like, I'm a little more, I guess, feels just a little disconnected to as many potential people to network and talk with surrounding that space, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you doing functional medicine stuff with your client that you have, or is it just coaching?
Well, she just signed up yesterday, so we haven't started
Okay.
yet, but it
Oh.
will be, I mean, with her, it likely won't, I'm not sure yet. It may, go into that direction, but as of now, it's nurse coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as what she's told me, about her history and what she wants to work on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to, share with, I didn't know if you had already heard about
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
what Bridget's offering. Sure.
So thank you for sharing that, Laura. And I have a resource to share too, but I'm still looking for it through my emails. So if somebody else wants to go ahead and introduce themselves, I'll bring that forward here in a minute.
I can go ahead. I guess I did kind of introduce myself a little bit just with where I was going with, what I was um, sharing. So I'm originally from San Diego and my boyfriend's a boat captain and his work brought us out to Puerto Rico April of last year. And so, and I took the Nurse Coach Collective course last year. I graduated in August and I am, bye Sue, thanks for coming. Yeah, so I started a legal nurse consulting business a few years ago, back in 2021 in San Diego, and so I'm still doing that, but my goal is to full-time transition into nurse coaching because working with attorneys is but yeah, I don't know if is there anything else you wanted us to share?
That's great that you
Oh,
shared.
I also wanted to share, well, I'm really curious. I'd love to hear more about Thomas's meditation course. And I I actually do want to do, I never thought about doing like a multiple day one. It sounds like yours was a 7 day. I'd love to hear more about that because that sounds super interesting. I do want to do like a meditation course. I guess I just thought it would be like a 1 day or like less, but this idea came to me just in the last like couple months. I've been following the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard about him, but he's pretty well known in the meditation space. And during a lot of my recent meditations, I've had these ideas that have come to me like about, meditation and creating a course. And I've struggled with like choosing a specific niche because people say like, oh, what's your, niche, something you could talk about all day, every day. I'm like, there's nothing that I could talk about like all day, every day. I have a lot of interest and it feels really limiting, but meditation, I feel like is something I could talk about all day.
Yes,
Anyways,
well, I can, uh, Laura, would you like to give me your best email, and if you like, I can include you in my uh, when I send some information out. And if you want to participate in any kind of way, I'm happy to share what I'm thinking. So, um,
Sure.
yeah, the the uh, brief summary of it is basically there are seven modules, and they're meditations that are about 20-25 minutes, and they basically draw on my experience over um, many years as a meditator, um, kind of going over the landscape of the mind and talking about some of the common pitfalls. And it's extremely simple. It's basically what could be called stillness meditation, and uh, and then it's basically like a kind of a way to triangulate your own uh, way into deep states of stillness, so that you never have to search for the way again. But once you have the way, you always will have the way. And once you have that way, you it becomes a new resource of intelligence or experience that others who should anyone else want to experience something like stillness, you can also be a resource for them. So that's sort of the yeah, so it's meant to take place over 7 sessions. Each session is about an maybe an hour long. So even though the practice itself is very short and concise, there's there's opportunities for coaching, um, one-on-one breakout groups, um, and so it's kind of like an hour-long session in total. So 7 of those. Yeah,
Super exciting. Thank you for sharing.
Yes,
my
I think
pleasure.
I'm glad you shared that, Thomas, and I'm glad you gave an invitation to people on the call here to learn more about it.
Good. Yeah, I see your email, Laura. So thank you.
Yes.
I will
Thank you.
appreciate that.
That kind of thing is always welcome in my groups for you to connect with each other, network, share, meet up later, anything that would help to elevate your work. It's always welcome. Well, I found the resource I was looking for, and I also remembered that Thomas might have experience with this resource. So if so, I'd love to hear what you think. This is a new coaching platform or new online platform for nurse coaches called Prime Health RN. And so has anybody here had experience with that platform yet? Okay, 2 of you. How's it going? I know it's brand new. I don't know if it's how well it's functioning yet.
I don't I'm familiar with it. I wouldn't say that I have experience with it. I'm familiar. I attended a webinar where is it Amanda, I
Yeah.
think, explained what it would look like and what it entails, but I'm not like a member or however you call it.
Okay.
I know about it.
Okay, great.
I don't have the funds yet to be a member.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Thomas?
Yes, likewise for me. So when Amanda, was launching, I just dove right in, and with the monthly membership without any expectation at all. I just really think it's the next thing. It's the coolest thing going on in healthcare, this type of model. So I want to be a part of that. And so I have my profile is up and my services are listed, and it's really a bit of an experiment. I have no idea um, if my prices are exactly right or if I'm packaging things exactly right. I basically decide I just was just going off the cuff, and put it together, get something out there, um, and with the potential that as interest increases, that maybe there could be some work there for me, which would be great. Um, and I think the key thing about it is for me is that as as much as I am a holistic provider of care down to my soul, the reality is that this service is to really have to really serve a need. At least the way that I see it is, I also have to be marketing myself in the disease management space, which is somebody who can a physician or a provider can hand off to a nurse who can provide coaching for those needs as well. And so I did have to ask myself, okay, is that really something I want to be available for? And well, no and yes, because the thing is coaching can be it can be applied anywhere. So if I'm willing to say brush up on a specific knowledge regarding disease management in order to provide the coaching service, which is really what is really having an impact on people. And that's because coaching is such a beautiful thing in terms of delivering uh, uh, listening and providing space and presence and coaching side by side rather than dictating and all these other strange things we do to try and help people in the helping professions. It's real. So at the end of that dialogue in my mind, I said, yeah, I'll put myself out there, and if um, um, and we'll see how that goes, and also just to support the movement. So yeah.
Thank you. I know we haven't heard from Jan yet, an introduction. Jan, when you finish, then I want to share something with everybody about niches, okay, and getting started. So go ahead and share your introduction.
I'm Jan Walter. I am in the Kansas City area, and I am a coach that works with Sharon. So we will usually see me on the first Tuesdays, and if you join for the rest of the other parts of the program, you will see me on those also. And I also, like Thomas, signed up with Amanda for this similar reason. I was an early adopter as a nurse practitioner. And that obviously that movement has grown to I was in the state of Iowa, I was number 83. So, and as everyone knows, the nurse practitioner has grown tremendously. So I believe nursing, we have a lot of opportunity to have a lot of big impact in areas, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So.
Right. And your focus in your own business is?
Well, I focus on stress, and I am also a financial coach, and I found that finances is one of the biggest stressors. Although people may come for other parts, that usually plays a part of their life. So I do coaching in that space.
Very good.
Have you gotten any people from the Prime Health being on there?
No, I have not. I was going to look for Thomas's bio and everything in there. No, I have not. And I really don't know how long that's going to take. I know it's just been a few months since she started that, I believe, this past fall. So we'll see how that works.
Mhm. Mhm.
How much does it cost to join? Do you remember?
Um, I'm seeming to think it was, I better not say because I don't know, and I don't know if there was an early fee or, Thomas may know more about, you said a monthly program.
Yeah, so I believe Amanda's asking for $25 at least a monthly. At least that's what it was when she was in that startup phase, but I believe she still is in that phase, so I don't know that that's changed or not, but yeah.
Mhm. I think it's pretty low. It will go up. One of her barriers, or let's say hurdles, is to get marketing widespread enough that there's a flow of attention to the actual practitioners who want work. And, she's one person with some assistants right now, so it's going to take her a while. When I talked with her last, she was putting together some packets of information that anyone can take to the physicians and counselors, therapists, any variety of health practitioners in their area, and help her get the word out. And then that will, of course, help increase the possibilities that you have referrals, especially if you make a nice connection when you leave the information. So that's about all I know about it, but I think it has a great potential. And it's lovely, Jan, that you brought up, kind of reminded us of where nurse practitioners started back in the 80s. What year did you get your license?
The 70s.
In the 70s. Okay, back in the
Yes,
70s.
it was only pediatrics. It was
Okay.
the only thing that there was no other kind, and it was mainly for um, health and human services clinics. I worked mainly in inner city, and so that was the push at the time. And the physicians were had a lot of foresight. They realized that we as nurses would end up overcoming them, so they fought it.
They fought it hard. I
They fought
remember
it
that very
hard.
well. So anyway, it's going to be like that with nurse coaching. We're
Yeah,
at the early days, the pioneer days, of being the trailblazers in nurse coaching, and then it's going to grow also. We have the benefit now of a lot more internet and connectivity that we can leverage
yes,
compared to what nurse practitioners had in the 70s and 80s. It
yeah.
was very slow going then. So, okay, thank you. So I want to mention just a little minute about your niche because that's come up in several people's comments. And I know if you're around anybody that's a marketing educator, a business educator, they pretty much always are pushing to to define your niche and narrow it down as much as you can. And that is important. However, uh, I think that message is overdone in a lot of instances. I think that when you're beginning, and especially as a nurse, when we have such a wide breadth of education and experience, I think it's perfectly fine to let ourselves have sort of a broad niche at first with an eye and an ear tuned toward finding where is the sweet spot that's a little narrower that I relate to and I feel like I can help people in, and then go along with that, and but still keeping our ears and eyes open. Well, okay, where is a sweet spot that I can go a little narrower and let it take an organic evolutionary path or progression. The idea, of course, is that specialists make more than generalists. You can think about that in healthcare and as a model. And part of the reason is because they have that more in-depth, they have a narrow focus, so it enabled them to go more in depth in their knowledge and experience and wisdom. And that helps them serve people in a more nuanced way because they have in their own minds in some way structured all the variables and can navigate that. And they've developed skills along the lines of those variables. So that's what makes a specialist stand out. And it's the standing out that helps you in business. For instance, if you, let's say, have a complicated fracture, would you rather go to your family practitioner who's a generalist or go to somebody that specializes in orthopedics? And the likelihood is that you want that person with that more in-depth specialized knowledge. And in medicine, it's easy because you can search for that keyword of orthopedic, or and find them. So it makes them not only more knowledgeable, but more visible and easy to find. So nurse coaching is in a completely different category as far as the development of that profession. And so we can still learn from the model of the specialization in other fields. And it goes in all fields, really. You can think about it in the arts and entertainment. You can think about it in grocery stores, restaurants, anything like that. When a business chooses to specialize, they can create their visibility to stand out from the crowd in a clearer way. And then people who, for instance, want a meal of Peruvian food, they are going to be able to search for that and have more likelihood of finding it than if everybody just said they were restaurants. So that's just another example. But there's no point in forcing yourself into a little niche before you know that's where you want to be. Because if you force yourself too early, you're going to find yourself in a restrictive place that you're just doing another job. You've just created a job for yourself instead of something that's really fulfilling and nourishing you and inspiring you and that you're excited to work at. So in my experience and viewpoint is to hold these differences together at the same time, which is both honoring where you are in terms of your niche, and if it's a general niche at the beginning, like wellness and prevention, those are general niches. Even functional health is a general niche. Hold it tenderly and gently so that it can shift and morph as you follow your interest. And also, another key point is that you see who gets attracted to you and what kind of problems they're bringing to you and who you like to work with. All these factors can play together and lead you in a direction that will eventually become a more focused niche that's more visible and then more of a specialty. How does that land for you?
It's reassuring. Because I definitely hear that, like what you were saying in the beginning, like, I mean, even before I started my nurse coaching program, I remember hearing people say like, oh, you have to have a niche. Like, it's like, you can't do it without a niche. And then like the first month of my program, I just like, every time I heard the word, I was like, ew, it feels so limiting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've kind of come to the like terms with the like accepting that I'm gonna, give the first 6 months, at least first 6 months of my business, like no niche, and then see kind of like you're saying, kind of always have an eye and an ear out for what direction you're thinking, but it's helpful to hear that again from someone who's, experienced.
Yeah. Along with that, I encourage everybody to take a real experimental approach to this, finding your niche business, and just put your toe in the water, do something, see how it feels to you, um, and then take another step. Think of it more like paper airplanes than building a building, so everything's very light and changeable until you really find what you want. And there's so many, you could make an analogy in building a wardrobe or, you know, I don't know, many crafts of different kind of finding your craft. It is really finding your craft in a way. And so you want to get out there and just do things with the different audiences that you think you'll be interested in and let yourself be surprised by what fits for you. Think about when you were in nursing school and you had to go around a rotation and try a little of everything. And you might have thought a particular area might have been, like you couldn't wait. You thought you'd just love it. This would be it. And then when you got in there, maybe you loved it, maybe you didn't. And that can happen with this, exploring your niche too. So best not to commit everything until you have, by experience, actually tried it on for size and see how it fits you. And then in terms of those of you who are doing wellness practices, and I do want to say even wellness and prevention is a niche. You can't say it's not, there's no niche, because health is a niche, for instance, but it's a macro niche. And we ideally in time, we come to a micro niche that will fit us. But so asking people, what are their health challenges? What's keeping them up at night? And that kind of thing. What are they looking for answers? What are they looking for help in? Those can help. Those are the kind of conversations to have initially so that you just get closer to the people, get closer to what their pain points are and their challenges are. Ask them what they've tried before, what's worked, what's not worked. These kinds of things will help you put together your message when you invite people to work with you, and they'll help you make it meaningful. They'll help people who hear your message be able to recognize, oh, that might be for me. And that's what you want. It's a matter of, you being over here and your audience, your potential customers here, and just moving closer together by listening and observing and respecting them and being curious about how you can help. Well, is there any, I like to end these calls with inviting you to share any takeaways that you got from tonight and what your next step might be.
Well, thank you for that encouragement. I appreciate that, on not having a specific niche. And, I will try and go out and talk to people, but I don't see that many people because I'm not working right now. So it's kind of hard sometimes, but thank you for that guidance. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Barb. I forgot, I wanted to suggest to you, have you thought about checking into seeing if there's any way you can work for other health practitioners like chiropractors, naturopaths,
Yeah.
counselors?
I haven't done a lot of it. I keep saying I'm doing it and something keeps stopping me. And I don't know what that is really. I'm trying to figure that out. When I did my practicum, I had a nurse practitioner that gave me some people. She does a lot of bioidentical hormone therapy. and she said, yeah, we'll work together and stuff. And I keep sending her messages. She's like, yeah, I'll try to get someone to you, and nothing's come, so but I guess I need to do more and reach out to more practitioners and
Yeah.
and see. I mean, I like what you said, that Prime Health has packages to give to practitioners, because I keep thinking I need to put together a package to, send out to these practitioners. But do I? I mean, I could just send an email, and I sent one out to a one place. They do a lot of like they do Botox and stuff like that, but they said they were doing wellness stuff, and I haven't got any message back, like nothing. I sent a couple emails out. So it gets a little
Yeah.
frustrating. I don't know. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard to get responses from people that don't know you and you're
Yeah.
reaching out by email. If
Yeah.
you have the bandwidth to go around to offices in your area and meet the staff, like the receptionists or the nurses or other staff, especially
Yeah.
staff that actually has time with the clients, I think that will serve you.
Yeah.
Hmm. And even just leaving your card or a little one-page flyer about what you offer. Just the main thing is that you have your contact info, and um, ask them if they think that practice would be interested in getting to know about you and what you do.
Yeah. I
And
know. I figured I was going to start it with the email and then get a response and then come in. But
yeah,
I'm like, well, that's not working.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Well, so you tried that. That was an
Yeah.
experiment. That was one paper airplane. Now try another one.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Who else has a takeaway and a next step?
Although I was just actually gonna piggyback off of what Barbara was just saying, because it reminded me of before I moved to San Diego, I was trying to plant as many seeds as possible before I moved so that I could get the word out, and I got like nothing. And I really tried to make a point of like going in person with flyers and then posting flyers as much as I could. And even though there's like nothing that came directly from it, I still try to think of it as like planting seeds, and you never know where that maybe, I mean, even if not just for me, just nurse coaching, just to get the word out. And like, we're talking about like the movement and, make it more of, mainstream rather than like the traditional, like, oh, you're a nurse, what hospital do you work at, kind of mentality. Um, But yeah, a lot of takeaways. I appreciate all the feedback you had about, the Google and the trends, and I'll definitely check that out. And yeah, I just grateful to be here. I appreciate you hosting these, and I wish I had been able to hop on one sooner. Just
You're
life.
welcome to come every first Tuesday of every month.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And just for everybody, remember it takes about 7 contacts with people before they actually take action on average. So some will take action before that, some will be twice as much. So, and that's if you are in person or on the phone or something. If it's email, it can take many, many more touches. So it's a numbers game in that way these days. It's not like, 20, 30 years ago. It's very competitive to get people's attention.
Well, I am taking away just a sense of gratitude for having this resource and this group of people as I go along in my journey. So thank you. And yeah, my next step is um, I think there's a little bit of a mentality or mindset for me to something around um, not being sure that my next role really lets me do something that I enjoy, and maybe not settling for less. So it's not really a step because it's not completely within my control. But then again, um, well, I think you see what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I can accept that anymore because I've been doing that for just so long. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for what all you've shared and for your presence. And I look forward to seeing you again sometime when our paths cross. Come back if you'd like. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Excellent.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.